bidding continue on the last quarter of the year, so that we can get an acceptance award of bids in December, and then into the next summer's worth of work. Any questions on this? So we have along the work with the consultant to look at what are the potential options available for Proviso West to install solar panels. They started looking at what's, if you were to say, okay, I've used the entire roof as a basis of design, here they started laying out the total number of panels that may be possible for that roof. Come up with a number of 938 panels. We're starting to take a real closer dive into, okay, what does that mean from cost side? So we're mainly working on what is the budgeting for potential budgeting for that, as well as from the renovation side. What does that actually mean from a sensible power use? So how much actual power will you be able to get into use for that? And then from a cost analysis. A life cycle basis, so we understand what's the lifespan of these units, consider some around 25 years. The investment that currently being into them, what is the payback period for that versus the amount of power that generates that. And then a lot of things into account when we look at this, and generally because historically the payback period has not been one that's been significantly improved in order to balance out the cost. So the initial investment, it becomes a good sustainable choice, but it might not necessarily pay for itself in the long run. I hear that Carl and Jessica are in the room.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, for starting out with us here. We hit some traffic on the way out here. It was pretty brutal. Yeah, I don't think we have anything to add on the solar panel topic. So Amanda, I wasn't sure if you had any questions for us before we move on to the next item. Okay, then yeah, just give one.
Okay.
Mrs. Grant is speaking.
I'm sorry, but we're having a hard time hearing both of you. The volume is really quiet over here. Can you give us just a second to try to figure this out? Can you try speaking now?
Can you hear us now?
Yes, much better. Thanks.
Okay. Well, my question's answered, so go
Oh,
ahead.
okay, great. Perfect then. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the specialty rooms at Proviso East. These are on the lower two levels of buildings A and B that just require a little bit more consideration for the next sequence of work. So, okay. There are a few, 5 areas altogether. There are 3 on the lowest floor. Building A, we have the social justice room and the kitchen and cafeteria, and then the lower gym in building B. So at building A, we have the social justice room. So this is a scope that we have put together. We've talked about this with the district a little bit, and we're just expanding right now. So in the social justice room, we're proposing leaving the wood molding as in place and replacing the non-original 12 by 12 ceiling tiles and the lights. We're also proposing reusing the existing wood enclosures along the exterior wall and putting in horizontal VRF units right there. And then in the next room,
So these horizontal enclosures are currently for radiators, and so that we would just be taking the radiators out and putting new units in there.
All right, so in the lower gym, the scope that we're proposing is removing and replacing the existing 2x2 ceiling tile system as well as the lighting. We can also expose the existing structure in the ceiling so they can see what's up there and also give a little bit more space, and as well as the acoustic panels. We can also retrace the existing ductwork routing into the space, which would allow for exposed, painted, spiral ductwork along the walls. And right now there's some exiting issues that exist right now, or rather, there's ways that we can improve the exiting in this area. So we're also looking into ways that we can improve that as well. And then finally, on the ground floor in the cafeteria and the kitchen, we're proposing removing and replacing the existing ceiling tile system and the lighting, as in the other spaces as well. And similar to the social purpose room, or social justice room, removing the existing radiators and the unit ventilators that are along the wall. And then we can provide overhead ductwork for fresh air and air conditioning.
Excuse me.
And then we will also be replacing the kitchen and makeup air unit as well. All right, and I'm going to turn it over to Carl to talk about the level 1 spaces.
Yeah, so just a couple of other additional spaces that kind of require a specific approach, different kind of from what you see in a typical space. On the 100 level, I have the library and upper gym. Oh, LT, are you the one driving? Or?
No, Mike is.
Oh, Mike is, okay. So at the library, again, you know, there's a lot of original woodwork in this space, so we want to make sure that we try to maintain as much of it as possible, and you know, lessen the impact of any new HVAC work. So we're continuing to investigate this, and we'll update you if our approach changes. But right now, our intention is to reuse the existing radiator enclosures for new VRF units at these taller windows. Currently, there are radiator enclosures built into the original woodwork. So it seems like that would be a good opportunity to go ahead and just you know, keep mechanical equipment where mechanical equipment is currently located. As far as lighting, we're going to replace the long suspended lights that you see there, as well as the suspended lights that are under the mezzanine and in the one-story spaces. And I think this will have a huge impact on just the feel of the space, you know, when we improve the quality of light. For ceiling, at the higher ceiling area, the existing original woodwork will remain. There are currently gypsum board panels in between that woodwork that would be repainted just to refreshen them. The only ceiling that we would seek to replace in the library would be non-original 12 by 12 adhered acoustic tiles. We'd like to take these out and go back with a larger acoustic panel, something that can give a little bit more of a monolithic feel to it, so that way the original woodwork has, you know, kind of pops a little bit more, isn't cluttered up by kind of the non-original 12 by 12 tiles that kind of detract from it. So again, trying to keep as light of a touch as possible while improving the you know, the HVAC service to the space and as well as the lighting. Then the last space that probably has kind of the most impactful approach is the upper gym at Proviso West in Building B. We're currently exploring this, and our again, our approach on all these could change, but our preliminary thought is that with some of our investigation, we found that the 1x1 acoustic tile, or 12 by 12 acoustic tile that's up there, is actually supported from wood joists that is mounted to the bottom core of these long span metal trusses. These trusses look like they're in pretty good shape, you know, actually have some aesthetic value to them. And so our thought is that we could remove this ceiling and expose the structure and provide more height to this space. That would also give us some good opportunities to locate ductwork within the truss structure itself, as well as the lighting. So raise it up out of, you know, harm's way a little bit, so that way, you know, errant basketballs, volleyballs, and whatnot, it's a little bit harder to hit. You know, if we raise it up there, and we can, you know, obviously we'll repaint it and stuff like that, but can provide kind of a really nice gym feel to this space. Especially once we remove some of the existing HVAC equipment that you see here in the right photo that's mounted high up on the wall. You know, we'll be able to get rid of all those chases, clean up the walls a lot, again, just make it feel like a little bit better of a gym space. On top of that, there's some glass block openings on the north side of the room that we're proposing removing the glass block and considering glazing or translucent panels for better daylighting. And then we'd like to consider a few new openings on the south side of this room, again with glazing or translucent panels, just to increase the daylighting. You know, it has a lot of benefits to that. Just, you know, the feel of the space is great. It's a great energy strategy. And, you know, I think it's budget-minded as well. You know, popping in a new opening in a masonry wall is not particularly costly. So those are some things we're going to consider as we move forward in the design process. Obviously, we'll get cost estimates from Gilbane that will allow us to evaluate not only the approaches in this upper gym, but in all these kind of unique spaces to continue to make sure that, you know, as we try to provide, you know, the best quality of space, that we're also being budget-minded as well. So, any questions on any of those spaces? Okay. Then flipping over to Proviso West, a couple of kind of unique conditions here, again requiring a little bit of a custom tailored approach versus the typical classroom space. The south side of Building B, on the first floor of Proviso West, like the floors above it, would see a curtain wall replacement, as it currently has an old original steel frame curtain wall that is asbestos containing. So, you know, the intention on the upper two floors, or the scope has always been to replace that curtain wall. Well, when we get down to the lower level, not only is the HVAC work integrated with the curtain wall, but the casework, the science casework, is also integrated with the curtain wall. This presents some complications when you're trying to upgrade the HVAC system. So, you know, as we kind of look for logical adjacencies in terms of scope for the district as you go forward, to make sure that we're maximizing the value of your dollars, it was suggested that maybe the district would like to consider some science lab renovations at Proviso West, kind of corresponding with the level of upgrade that Proviso East saw. And so Mr. Ashoff, in coordination with LT, reviewed some of these spaces and provided 4 suggestions for spaces that could see science lab upgrades. These would be biology rooms, again mirroring the work that is proceeding at Proviso East. And you know, this would be, again, a very similar scope. New casework, new science casework, new countertops, ceilings, lights, and floor finishes. And so it would provide an upgrade to those biology spaces. We are going to, again, like everything else, develop a scope, develop design, preliminary design documents, get cost estimates from Gilbane that will allow the district to kind of weigh the budget impact of adding these 4 rooms into the scope. So I think then that concludes our portion of the presentation. Ms. Grant, if you have any questions or any comments on anything we presented, I'd be happy to address those now.
No questions. You did a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. At this point, we will turn it over to LT. You're going to go over the some of the Gilbane presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
You guys can hear me, right? Can you guys hear me now? So Michelle's out today for the people that are on the call. She's under the weather. So Gilbane, milestone dates for bid package 11C, 28A, 28B, 28C and D, track field equipment, access control for Proviso East, West, and Math and Science Academy. The advertising dates are Friday, May 6th, which is this week Friday. We would like to have the bids on the street. Take the bids off the street May 9th, 2022. Pre-bid meeting, have a bid opening on May 25th, and then do the scope reviews on May 28th. and then bring it to the board meeting on June 14th, 2022. Michelle's been working hard on this, and so has Tom Weeks. I want to make sure that at the May 10th board meeting, that the two interns will be showcased with their parents. So we're hoping that Michelle is not under the weather too much longer. We would really like for these students to be at the board meeting on May 10th. There was 3 applicants. Michelle and her Gilbane team interviewed everyone, and they selected the 2 best candidates. Any questions about the Gilbane updates?
Now we can move on to your updates, correct?
Yes. So moving on to the Proviso Township High School updates. This slide shows a collaboration construction plan between Gilbane and the Proviso Township High School family. The green sections are all the sections that will be demoed. This is the middle floor at Proviso East High School. We're actively communicating with security, principals, coordinators to ensure that all of these deadlines are met. One of the high-level concerns is in this area here, the book room. This is going to be where our trash chute goes. And we want to make sure that June 15th, we hit the ground running to build that trash chute in. So the team is going to work hard to give assistance to the book room clerks and the administration team at Proviso East to dump out all of that equipment before June 15th. It is critical that we meet that deadline. This slide here shows the Proviso West collaboration work for construction with the Gilbane team and the Proviso family. It is the entire second floor over at Proviso West High School, excluding the library. This work, the ACM work over at Proviso West High School started last week. It will continue through June 10th or 12th. The reason why we would like to do that work, because we need to demo all of the green pockets, which is ACM containing material installation on the risers. So that's why that work is being expedited as we speak, to make sure that we hit the ground running June 15th with demo. Moving on to the Proviso East updates. Al, would you come to the podium for a second, please?
Thank you, LT. Thank you, LT. Can you guys hear me? You can come to the screen. Over at Proviso East, the shop team has been continuously cleaning out sump pump pits for the upcoming rain and flood season. The picture above to your left, you can see in the B building, we cleaned and tested the sump pump in that area and took pictures of that. Over the weekend, our team has been working on cleaning the coils and condensers for the calf kitchen and coolers to help maintain the temperature in those spaces. The fire doors over by door 17 had become damaged just from everyday use. As you can see from the pictures, the handles are kind of sagged from this consistent use every day. The shop team worked to take apart these handles, put new springs in, and fix them. The fire doors are now operating correctly. In Memorial Hall, the shop team made some more upgrades to the building by adding new LED lighting panels to the dance studio. This work required taking down the old 8-crate fixtures removing the ceiling tiles to have the electrical reach the new ceiling and reach the new tiles that were put in. This made the room much brighter and reduced the amount of energy used in that space. The grounds team over at Proviso East High School, we needed to add limestone to the shot put area on the north side of the field. The team spent multiple days working on dumping and leveling the limestone. They had to take 6 inches off the top to complete this project for the track meet that was on May 23rd. The team moved a total of 30 tons of limestone into the shot put area for the track event.
Thank you. Moving on to the Proviso West updates. On the 3rd floor of Proviso West, last week we had a lot of grueling rain, and it was noticed that 3 classrooms was negatively impacted. So we sent our plumber upstairs to drain out, to rot out the plumbing lines upstairs. You can see on the far right here where it was clogged at. In the middle, you can see the drain line is unclogged and is working fine as we speak. Over at Proviso West, in the teacher's cafeteria, we upgraded the mechanical components for shaving ice over there. There's no further repairs needed for this. This is up and functioning as we speak. The security office over at Proviso West, there was a mistake, broken glass inside the space here on the far right. You can see Leroy doing a great job taking out the glazing, replace the glass. On the far left is a finished product. The AD and his varsity baseball coaches requested for the men's team to actually install a batting cage on the varsity baseball field. This work took about 2.5, 3 weeks. We did turn it over this Monday. They are up and running and they love this space. We do plan on adding crushed limestone in the grassy area here in the near future, but as we speak, they can get out there and practice and continue with their season. Mr. House?
I have a quick question, LT.
One sec. Go ahead.
Is the batting cage that's still in the field house in use as well? Is the new one outside?
I can't do it. Let me try my computer. Can you say that again?
I'm wondering about the indoor batting cage in the field house in Proviso West. Is that still being used as well as the outside one now?
Yes, it is. So the inside one is being used by facility usage groups and being used by the lower level baseball teams. And the varsity team is going to start using the one outside.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, good afternoon. These are some of our most recent updates for Proviso Math and Science Academy. In our main kitchen, we have minor repairs to one of our faucets. It is an antiquated piece of equipment that's been around for some time. So we are in progress to have this unit replaced totally as some of the gaskets are not available. So those parts are on order in progress. It's one of our hand washing sinks, also in the main kitchen, where we had no hot water supply. For the food and safety, we had to remove this unit from the wall, replace it 90-degree angle lines and clear it. And so all those repairs have been complete. Here we have in our pump room for our fire suppression system, our jockey pump. We had an incident, we had one of the nipples that recently burst from corrosion. I believe those slides will be coming forward. But this jockey pump, the bearings appear to be a little noisy, so we're monitoring it right now. It runs typically around 160 PSI for the entire system, so we are checking into keep an eye on that. Exterior grounds, we're in the process of tree pruning. Here's some work that our groundsman, Stockdale, completed this task. We also have the south end of the east parking lot closer to the dealership where we're in progress to have those trees pruned as well. The west side of the trees have been pruned, and we're all set for that. Here's the nipple from the fire suppression system where there's corrosion. You can see in the threads right there, just general holes that started the issues. So the system was shut down, and so it has been repaired, in collaboration with JCI, and so that's all good to go. And all the trouble codes have been cleared from the fire alarm system.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for the facility team? Out of respect for our teachers for Appreciation Week, we wanted to make sure we put a backdrop here to support them, let them know that they're valuable, and we are so happy that they're back in school.
All right, any questions from anyone else? All right, well, thank you so much, Perkins and Will. LT, thanks for stepping in for Gilbane. And thanks to everyone for the building updates for West, East, and PMSA. Things look like they're on track, and I'm really excited, and I appreciate all the work you're doing, so thank you so much. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, June 7th, same bed time, same bed channel, and I hope to see you all there.
Thank you so much.
Everyone.
Take care, Officer.
Thanks, sir.